France's President Emmanuel Macron has said he deeply regrets President Donald Trump's controversial decision to withdraw all United States troops from Syria. An ally must be dependable, said Mr. Macron, who reportedly called Mr. Trump to warn him against the plan. The United States said the Islamic State, its group, had been defeated, a claim disputed by allies and United States politicians. France, a key part of the United States-led coalition against is in Syria and Iraq, said its troops would remain in Syria. Some 2,000 United States troops have helped rid much of Syria's northeast of the jihadist group, but pockets of fighters remain. Critics of Mr. Trump's decision say it could lead to a resurgence of the group, and Defense Secretary Jim Mattis resigned over the issue. Speaking on a visit to French troops in Chad, Mr. Macron said, "To the allies is to fight shoulder to shoulder. It's the most important thing for a head of state and head of the military." Mr. Trump's sudden announcement on Wednesday and Jim Mattis' resignation sparked concern even among Republican supporters of the president. The United States Special Presidential Envoy for the Global Coalition to Defeat is Brett McGurk also quit over the decision. Meanwhile, the French president paid tribute to Jim Mattis, calling him a reliable partner. Mr. Macron's remarks are the latest in a series of recent tense exchanges between the two leaders, who are often described as close allies with a good personal and working relationship. He also stressed the importance of the Syrian Democratic Forces, SDF, an alliance of Syrian Kurdish and Arab fighters credited with playing a major role in the virtual elimination of IS after it overran large swathes of Syria 5 years ago. "I call on everyone not to forget what we owe them," he said. The president, who has long pledged to pull troops out of Syria, continued to insist that his decision was the right one and that, now that it was defeated on the ground, other players could take care of the situation. "Going to be there for 3 months. And that was 7 years ago. We never left. When I became president, ISIS was going wild. Now ISIS is largely defeated and other local countries, including Turkey, should be able to easily take care of whatever remains. We are coming home." End of Twitter post by @Real Donald Trump. The United States troops have largely been stationed in the Kurdish region in northern Syria, and the Pentagon said it was transitioning to the next phase of the campaign. Without giving details, the recent United States report said there were still as many as 14,000 is militants in Syria, and even more in neighboring Iraq. There is a fear they will shift to guerrilla tactics in an attempt to rebuild their network. But the partnership between the United States and the Kurds has enraged neighboring Turkey, which views the Kurdish militia, the main fighting force in the SDF, as an extension of a banned Kurdish group fighting for autonomy in Turkey. The United States military says it has killed 62 fighters from the Islamist group Al-Shabaab in 6 airstrikes in Somalia. 4 airstrikes on Saturday killed 32 militants, and a further 2 on Sunday killed 28. It said in a statement, "These were the deadliest air attacks in Somalia since November 2017, when the United States said it had killed 100 militants." Somalia has seen a sharp increase in the number of airstrikes and casualties since President Donald Trump took office in the United States in January 2017. A tally by the Bureau of Investigative Journalism reveals that at least 400 people have been killed in airstrikes since the beginning of 2017, far more than the previous 10 years combined. The latest strikes bring to at least 40 the number carried out in Somalia so far this year, compared with 35 recorded in 2017. The United States has a huge military base in neighboring Djibouti, from where it launches attacks on the militants. Mr. Trump gave the United States military greater authority in March 2017 to attack militants in Somalia. Traditionally, United States presidents have been wary of intervening in Somalia, since AT and Special Forces soldiers died fighting militias in the capital Mogadishu in 1993, a battle dramatized in the film Black Hawk Down. No civilians were killed in the latest airstrikes, which were carried out in coordination with the Somali government, the United States military said. Alongside our Somali and international partners, we are committed to preventing Al-Shabaab from taking advantage of safe havens from which they can build capacity and attack the people of Somalia, the United States Africa Command said. Al-Shabaab, which is linked to Al-Qaeda, has not yet commented on the latest strikes. Somalia-based security think tank the Higher Institute said in a report published in November that Al-Shabaab had been forced to change tactics following the upsurge in airstrikes. The institute said the group was now conducting fewer mass attacks on military bases, but attacks on government offices and businesses which refused to pay its taxes had increased markedly. The United States State Department, in its most recent report on terrorism, described Somalia as a terrorist safe haven, and said Al-Shabaab remained a threat. Despite suffering setbacks, the group retained control over large parts of the country, and the ability to carry out high-profile attacks using suicide bombers, explosive devices, mortars, and small arms. The report added, a popular tourist attraction has become the latest Chinese company to show solidarity with Huawei's chief finance officer, Meng Wanzhou, who was arrested in Canada on 1 December. Shannon Mountain Scenic Park, in eastern Hainan province said it would waive the $9.65 ticket fee for anyone carrying a Huawei phone. Ms. Meng, who was given bail in Canada, faces extradition to the United States on charges of breaking Iran sanctions. Her case has upped tensions with China. Use Huawei phones. Shoot grand photos on the mountain. A notice on the Shannon Park's social media account said, "We wish friends around the world who support Huawei's success and bliss." The offer would last until 29 December, the South China Morning Post reported, but it was met with some criticism among China's social media users, who claimed it was discriminatory. Huawei phone owners are being offered other enticements too. They can get a 20% discount at a border in Beijing. Seen in Beijing, bring a Huawei phone and get 20% off. Similar to this story we covered yesterday. https://QUXL19YPQLPIC. Twitter.com Soccerlove. End of Twitter post by @LuOceanG. At least one firm has threatened to penalize anyone buying Apple products. A few days ago, Manpad Shenzhen-based LED and display manufacturer offered subsidies to any employees buying Huawei phones. It also pledged to fine anyone who bought an Apple iPhone. United States prosecutors alleged Ms. Meng,
46,
used the Huawei subsidiary called Skycom to evade sanctions on Iran between 2009 and 2014. They also allege she publicly misrepresented Skycom as being a separate company from Huawei, and that she deceived banks about the true relationship between the two companies. Ms. Meng, who is the daughter of Huawei's founder, has denied any wrongdoing and said she will contest the allegations. life of Huawei's high-flying heiress. The United States has been investigating the Chinese telecoms giant, the world's second-largest smartphone maker, since 2016, believing that it used Skycom to bring United States manufacturing equipment and millions of dollars in transactions to Iran in violation of sanctions. Ms. Man's detention comes amid an increasingly acrimonious trade dispute between Washington and Beijing. China is angry at her detention,